Welcome to episode 6 of Scott Reed's Comics. This episode will be covering the new Teen Titans, number 29. Cover dated March 1983. This was in the first issue I ever bought off the rack of Teen Titans. And it features some really compelling characters, including the Brotherhood of Evil, who we see pictured on the cover here in this stylized, rather menacing cover by George Perez, who is just masterful in his composition. And Speedy, a sometime Titan, is featured here in the foreground facing them. So we're going to get right into it. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. All right. Our title is First Blood. And our credits for this issue, Marv Wolfman, writer, George Perez, artist, and they are listed as co-creators. Romeo Tangal, inker, John Costanza, letterer, Adrian Roy, colorist, and Len Wein, editor. All right. So Brother Blood is pictured here in this amazing splash page as he is atop a column of skulls with a pit of fire below him. He is a powerful cult leader with supernatural and scientific abilities, and he has faced the Titans in the past. In fact, captured some of them, tortured Dick Grayson, a.k.a. Robin. So he's a pretty bad dude. Here, his reverie, his meditation is interrupted by Mother Mayhem, one of his acolytes, and she tells him of a desecration of their temple back in their homeland of Zandia by the Brotherhood of Evil. So the Brotherhood of Evil is a group of supervillains who hate Brother Blood. So pardon me if I do confuse that during this show, because the two names are kind of close together, but they are mortal enemies. And so Mother Mayhem says, oh, our temple was desecrated, our acolytes were killed, and Brother Blood says, don't worry about it, it's all part of my grand plan. So here we see on page 3 this incredible tableau of destruction rendered here by George Perez and Romeo Tangal, with these inset images showing close-ups of the victims of the Brotherhood of Evil's violence visited upon this temple. And here they're leaving the scene of the crime in a stolen jet of Brother Blood's. Inside the jet, we see the master of the Brotherhood of Evil, Brain, and his super rape assistant, Monsieur Mala, are talking by a video screen to the Brotherhood of Evil. And he's giving them their marching orders. They are now to pursue a target in the United States. And who is that target? Well, we're about to see, but we're pretty certain that that target is someone who is with the Teen Titans, and that's gonna reflect back on a story that occurred in the Titans' previous encounter with Brother Blood. Back in issues 13, 14, and 15 of this series, the Titans teamed up with the Brotherhood of Evil to fight General Zal and Madame Rogue, and that's a great story I'd like to cover. And believe it or not, you can find these issues in dollar bins, and if you do, you should snatch them up because they are like gold. It just shocks me that they're available so readily in dollar bins. So they break off contact with Brain. They're continuing their flight, and suddenly their plane goes awry. Plasmus, the brute of the Brotherhood of Evil, senses that this is not a natural mechanical error, but it's something that the pilot is trying to do to kill them. So he uses his powers of destruction to burst through the locked compartment door to the pilot's area and deal with it personally, except when the pilot fails to really react. Plasmus realizes he is just a robot, and this is part of an elaborate trap set by Brother Blood. So they're discussing their doom as their plane plummets toward the sea, and skablam! Do they get out? It's hard to say. We're going to have to see in a few pages. Damn, Brother Blood, this time he has, and we'll see what happens. Turn the page, and now we're at Titan's Tower, one of the iconic superhero bases in all of comics, I would say. Very cool. And then what was neat about the Titans, being a Marvel reader, I started out as a Marvel Comics reader, so I kind of came to DC through titles like the Titans and Legion of Superheroes. And the Titans were set in New York and Manhattan, and unlike some of the other DC mainstays, Batman in Gotham City and Superman in Metropolis, I felt like New York was a real place, and it was this book always felt a little more like a Marvel comic to me than a DC comic, and just the way it was done and structured and written and grounding the Titans in a real, quote unquote, real place like New York, I think was part of that. This training montage as a 13-year-old chubby kid affected me deeply. It just is so brilliantly rendered by Perez and Tangal, and just the training sequence that Dick goes through, Dick Grayson, aka Robin, because he has no powers, but he is, just through sheer force of will and the tutelage of the Batman, he is effectively superhuman in his capabilities. And this montage here just shows just how incredibly hard he works. And he's driving himself because he's trying to be too many things. And Donna Troy, aka Wonder Girl, the former protege of Wonder Woman, is trying to tell him that, look, you can't be all things to all people. You're gonna hurt yourself. It's unnatural. But Dick doesn't want to hear it. He's stuck in whatever inner torture that he's putting himself through. And here, this incredible sequence, he is crushing this heavy bag with blow after blow, and finally he bursts it with a almost superhuman punch here. Donna, I appreciate your concern, but you're wrong. I can do this. I have to. Okay, I won't push. Not today. Just take care of yourself and talk when you can. Sure, take care. I'll see you. These two have been friends for years. They were in the previous Titans title from the 60s and 70s, and they have a history together. And so they're dear, dear friends, and she senses his pain, but she also knows she can't push too hard because it'll just push him away. And so she's about to leave, but she's walking through Titan's Tower, and she is outside Raven's door, and she overhears this conversation between Raven and Kid Flash, two more members of the team. Raven, a mystical teleporter, an empath who can heal people with her touch, but has a dark secret that lies within her. Her demonic father, Trigon, has tainted her soul, and she's always worried about losing control and letting that influence out. Kid Flash, the former protege of the Flash, basically the speedster of the team, and somewhat conflicted about being a hero himself. He also feels like he loves Raven, even though she knows she can't return that love because, again, the whole emotions thing. If she lets her emotions run wild, Trigon can get free. So this is something that's going to develop through this issue. It's been burning for a while now. And Donna hears enough and she moves on. Real quickly, before we turn the page, these early D&D ads always made me curious about Dungeons & Dragons. I am a big gamer, and so eventually I would come to Dungeons & Dragons and Middle-earth roleplay and stuff like that, but these ads were always really cool to me, along with the ads that were like a faux comic that told a story. This might be early Bill Willingham art, but it might be somebody else. I'm not sure. It's uncredited, but great advertisements from the original TSR company for Dungeons & Dragons. All right, cut back. A small island in the mid-Atlantic. Gulf Stream waters warm this pocket isle, making it a veritable paradise, which is exactly the thought of these four haggard travelers. So the Brotherhood escaped miraculously the destruction of their stolen aircraft, and they did it mainly because of this fellow, Warp, who is a powerful teleporter who can also fly. He is a French national, another member of the Brotherhood recruited by the Brain, and once they recover from their near-death experience, he teleports them again, although he says he can't teleport them straight to New York. He's got to do it in stages because it's beyond his capability. So here we go. They're blinking out again, making their way inexorably toward the Titans. Wonder Girl is about to leave, and she runs into Starfire, another member of the Titans. Starfire was one of the original characters created for the new Teen Titans when they when they brought the team back. And she is an alien princess with flight, energy powers, and enhanced strength. Very cool character, and Perez obviously loved drawing her. She's got the giant hair and interesting costume, we'll say. So yeah, she is also a love interest to Dick Grayson and Robin. They're an item now, and she, being an alien, can't really understand all of the cultural and societal things that are playing on Robin right now, and his desire to live up to the Batman and run the Titans and do everything else he's trying to do. She just feels like it's her fault somehow, and Donna Troy is just trying to tell her, no, it's not your fault. Dick Grayson is just being Dick Grayson. Take care of yourself, hon, she says as she flies away. Flashback to the Brotherhood again. They've teleported again. From nothingness there comes light, and from the light appears the Brotherhood of Evil. Now where are we here, Varp? Not far from our goal, mon ami, but please let me rest. To use my power so broadly weakens me. And as they're resting, they are attacked by another cadre of Brother Blood's warriors. Not only does he have priestly acolytes, he has a small army of well-armed, with high-tech weaponry soldiers. So he is going to try to kill the Brotherhood of Evil again. But this incredible panel right here, where we just kind of see half of Phobia's face, is telling about what's going to happen to them. My poor deluded friends, we are not your enemy. Gaze into the eyes of Phobia, and you will learn who you must truly fear. So she possesses psychic powers that basically let her manipulate your mind and give you illusions of your darkest fears, and then she can control you in that way to some degree. She's a pretty sinister character, and her powers are usually employed for the worst outcomes. Meanwhile, we transition back. You can see in the background here, Titan's Tower, and then in the foreground, we see a normally garbed civilian seemingly here, and this awesome shot of her eyes. It's Frances Kane, a previous associate of Wally West, who is Kid Flash and the Titans. She appeared in a previous issue, I believe it was issue 17. She is not just a normal person after all. She possesses some kind of powers, in this case, magnetic powers, that let her levitate and control objects. And so she is going to go to Titan's Tower to see the Titans for a reason that we'll find out here in a moment. And then while within, hi, beautiful, how's it going? So this is Roy / Speedy. He is the former Titan who's come to visit. He was a protege of Green Arrow. And he's laying the rap pretty hard here on Starfire, trying to make a move on her, somewhat seriously, but probably also in a joking way, because he knows that she is with Dick Grayson, and he's a longtime friend of Dick Grayson. But he's a clown and a jokester, so he's having fun. But Robin doesn't see it that way. You don't take long, do you, Roy? You just move in and wham. Dick, we were just talking about you. Sure you are, Roy, I heard. So Dick is not in any kind of mood to deal with Speedy's jokes and his overtures toward his girlfriend. So and Starfire playfully hands him a spoon, and she and Robin depart. Look, I'm on my way to see Adrian Chase. It seems Bethany Snow just called him about Brother Blood. Are you interested in coming with me, or would you rather stay here? Of course I want to come with you. Good, then let's go. He kind of treats Corey pretty, Corey is Starfire's English name. He kind of treats her pretty poorly in these few issues, but they kind of later on find their level as a couple, and it gets better. But right now, Robin's going through some things. Okay, back at Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, in the secret temple of Brother Blood, The aforementioned Bethany Chase shows up, and she is, even though she's a U.S. media personality, she is also a member of Brother Blood's cult secretly. And that's one of his genius moves, is to control the media. So she's here in her robe, and she's telling Brother Blood that everything is set up. Chase and the Titans have an appointment with me for later. Excellent, Sister Bethany. Do this task well, and you will be amply rewarded. I will, my lord. I've memorized all the information. They will believe me. So she's part of this manipulation campaign against the Titans, using the media. And Brother Blood always rather menacing. Sister Bethany, do not fail me. Great design on Brother Blood, too. Excellent. George Perez is a masterful costume designer and storyteller. And again, we can see it here in this next panel where those guards, a couple pages back, who were attacking, well, they came to a terrible end. We can see here some remnants of Plasmus's power, and this guy obviously died in terror. And now the Brotherhood have these cool flying discs that they're riding on to give Warp a break from teleporting. And here there's a neat exchange where Warp and Hungan, another member of the Brotherhood, talk about whether they work for the brain or with the brain. And Warp says he works with him, and Hungan, who is a cool character who's like a voodoo priest who uses high technology to affect his targets, he says, no, I owe everything to the brain. I work for him. So, little difference in philosophy there. Meanwhile, back at Titan's Tower, we get our first shot this issue of Terra, a very interesting character who is going to have a very powerful effect on the Titans as a group in the next year ahead as she joins the team. I believe, and this is issue 29. She joins in issue 30. Here she is in an older version of her costume. She's in a constant state of chaos with Garfield Logan, the Changeling, another Titan member who can shapeshift. Roy's having some lunch, watching these two go at it. They're constantly bickering. And Tara leaves in a huff as Logan is asking her questions about her past and that she is not willing to answer at this point. Should be a red flag, but it's kind of glossed over by the team as they eventually welcome Tara into their ranks. And here we have Cyborg entering the scene. Cyborg, Victor, he is obviously a part man, part robot, and he's superhumanly strong and has a ton of other cool gadgets. He is also about to leave the tower for the day. Great shot here, too, of sort of the action going on. Wally West is he's at the monitor screen, and he's reading some Joseph Conrad. No use. This stuff puts me to sleep. I thought Conrad was supposed to be brilliant. The guy uses 4,000 words when 2 would do. So he's struggling with college, struggling with his studies. Meanwhile, on the view screen, you can see Tara leaving and Changeling chasing her. Suddenly, there's a priority alarm that goes off. Someone has landed on the island who is not accounted for. So they go out to meet her, and it is Francis Kane. Hi, Wally. Francis Kane, I don't believe it. You're floating, but I thought you lost your powers. I'm so happy to see you, Wally. For a while, I didn't think I'd have the nerve to come back here after what happened. That was when she originally got her powers and went crazy in number 17. I thought everything was going to change, but then the magnetic powers came back and I got so scared again. I had to see you. So she also has kind of a love interest in Wally, and they were once an item, I believe, but now Wally, of course, has been professing his love for Raven. Here Raven shows up, and they welcome Francis to come in and talk. It's a little cold outside. They're going to go have some hot chocolate. Meanwhile, Victor Stone, Cyborg, his powerful legs catapult him into the air towards Manhattan. He's going to be going to meet someone, and we'll see more about that in the next issue. Cut to in Manhattan. Robin and Starfire are at the home of Adrian Chase, the district attorney who, in a year or so, is going to become the vigilante another great character from DC, created by Marv Wolfman. I believe it'd be in a Teen Titans Annual number 2, I think, where that happens. That would be one worth covering if I can locate it. Gee, what's Superman and Batman really like? They're my absolute favorites after E.T. Yeah, mine too. Mrs. Chase, will Adrian be long? So here, Wolfman's establishing that Adrian Chase is a family man, but the two of them are working together to implicate Brother Blood in his dastardly doings in the United States. And they're working on some organized crime stuff as well. Adrian Chase, soon to be vigilante, shows up. And it's a tragic tale about how he becomes vigilante. Back at Titans Tower, Frances Kane is putting the Titans through a display of what she can do with her powers. Here she's lifting this engine. She doesn't want her powers. Wally thinks that it's the greatest thing, wants her to join the Titans. He himself, though, even though he wants her to join the Titans, he's conflicted about being in the Titans. So it's kind of he's in a tough spot right now. I had these Sergeant Rock toys as a kid. They were awesome. Not as posable as G.I. Joe, but still pretty cool. All right, so Roy still trying to finish his lunch when all heck breaks loose because the Brotherhood has finally arrived. And they don't set off any perimeter alarms because Warp teleports them in. This is an incredible shot of them emerging from Warp's teleport effect. Plasmus in the vanguard here, stepping forward, this hulking, menacing figure. Just so well drawn by Perez. He's really good at drawing not only normal people, but monsters and other mythological creatures, things like that. There's nothing that Perez could not draw, and he's just a master in his craft. And you got to give Speedy credit. He has the courage of a lion because these 4 menacing characters show up, and what's he do? He grabs his bow and goes right at them. Meanwhile, Raven, who has supernatural senses, can sense evil. Wallace, I sense the Brotherhood. They are in the kitchen. Who? Oh, God. Just what we didn't need. Half the team's out. Fran, stay here. Come on, Raven, let's go. So these two are going to go help. And Speedy's trying to stop Plasmus to no avail. And then in this incredible panel, Kid Flash moving so fast that Plasmus's destructive body can't really hurt him. He bursts through him and disrupts him. But we get to see finally Hungan use his powers as he takes what he calls a fetish, which has a bit of Kid Flash's actual hair on it, and uses his melding of sorcery and technology to cripple Kid Flash. And you can see he goes down here. Before Raven can do anything to help him, it turns out that she is the target of the Brotherhood. There is Raven. I will send her to our waiting station. She will not be able to escape. No! Warp captures her body, but Raven has a host of incredible powers, and one of them is the ability to manifest what she calls her soul self. So that is not captured. Her body is warped away, but her soul self, which looks like a giant energy raven, escapes, and she goes to attack Warp and knocks him out. Because that's one of her abilities in this form. However, she runs into Phobia, and this is so awesome with this power effect. Maybe a little mild bit of Kirby Crackle here with this power effect. Warp is not your foe. Look around you. See your worst fear come alive. He is here, now. He will destroy you, destroy everything you hold dear. No. There? But that is Walt. Trigon? So this is her demonic father. So Phobia is making Kid Flash appear to seem to be Trigon. And that is affecting Raven. It has fooled her, and she moves in and she attacks Trigon, but it's really Wally that she's enveloped her soul self in. And while she used her soul self to painlessly knock Warp out, when she wants to, it really hurt if she envelops you in it. Great scene here. So in the background here, this panel She is lashing out at Wally, really hurting him. Meanwhile, Speedy uses one of his patented gimmick arrows to knock Hungan out. Francis Kane couldn't stay back. I couldn't stay back, Wally. And then she comes in on the scene of chaos. And this incredible shot here. Credit to the colorist, Adrian Roy, for this, too, because it really, it's the coloring that really brings this to life. Wally, Kid Flash, is enveloped in Raven's soul self, and it is absolutely searing him, destroying him. And Francis Kane, seeing her ally in pain, or her ex in pain, she lashes out with her magnetic powers, and then the room goes crazy. Plasmus is going to come and deal with her, though. And just as he's about to melt her face, really, pal? Then try mine if you're man enough. You are a man beneath all that muck, aren't you? An arrow goes careening into him. Speedy, he's good in a fight. So, what happens here? Well, what do you know? It worked. Wherever you are, Ollie, I owe you one. Plasmus on a stick. Not bad, eh? What have you done to him, Phobia asked. I just attached the fridge's cooling units to a common explosive arrow. That's it. So he's crediting Ollie Green Arrow for the idea. So very cool use of his powers, or his gimmick arrow powers here. And Plasmus is on ice for at least a little while. He's about to take out Phobia when, again, she's quickly proving to be the deadliest member of the Brotherhood of Evil. She reaches in, back into Speedy's dark past, and finds that he was a heroin addict, and uses that previous addiction to work his mind and cripple him. But before it can go any further, she is knocked unconscious by Francis Kane's magnetic powers hurling this object at her. Fran, thank heavens, help me. We've got to save Wally. Help me. Hold it, Fran. Get back. We can't go near her. Still here, incredible in this panel, Wally is still enveloped in this cocoon of devastating mystical energy that is Raven's soul self. And then finally on our last page here, with Phobia knocked out, the effect has obviously worn off after a few seconds, and Raven pulls back. And Wally, who, remember earlier in the issue, was professing his love for Raven, is now horrified by her. And just the terror that he experienced while she was enveloping him is overwhelming. Meanwhile, Raven has instantly gone, found her body, teleported back. And now that she's in the room with Wally, as an empath, his hatred for her is too overwhelming, and it literally drives her away, because strong emotions can actually hurt her. Stay away from me, Raven. Just stay away. I cannot take your hate. I must leave, must go, must think. And so here, this last panel, well, Roy, how did you spend your winter vacation? She's gone, but I don't think she knew what she was doing. She knew, Fran. Believe me, she knew. And more, she enjoyed it. So Wally is pretty bitter about what's just happened. Next issue, Speedy, Tara, Fran, our newest Teen Titan. Who will it be? Plus, the drama continues, better than ever. Better indeed. And we know the new Titan is going to be Tara. I'm not really spoiling that for you. Great letters page, cool Titans Tower letters page logo here. Took a look at this earlier. No letters really worth reading here. But they always had a cool letters page in Titans, and that was appreciated. So that is New Teen Titans, issue number 29. Like I said before, like and subscribe, and I'll bring you more. This has been Scott Reads Comics.